Hi, this is Shelley Bacon from Colville, and I am the general manager of the industries and have been since, I think, April. Very privileged and honored to be able to have this position because the industries are very near and dear to my heart. They've been around for a lot of years, and they are a component of the school that I hope will last for many years to come. I'm not able to be with you this evening because I had prior arrangements to be in California for our grandson's 7th birthday, which is actually today your time, the 28th, and my husband is flying in, Barry is flying in from Africa to surprise him on his birthday. He'll be here, well, it's tomorrow, but yesterday, Friday, he should be here, arriving. I wanted to bring you a report, and this is the closest thing to in-person I could get. How many of you have seen the changes in the Daily Bread store lately? There have been some remodeling and some painting and a few things purchased, some new signage. Things look really nice and sharp there. We've had a lot of positive feedback about our changes and updates. Those were made possible by donations of both money and labor, time and energy spent. The money came from various sources, and the labor primarily from Scott and his wife, Leslie Carney, Scott is the new manager at the Daily Bread. How many of you have tried our new cafe? I hope that if you haven't yet tried it, you will soon go take advantage of this really nice new concept that we have. I want to particularly thank Scott and Leslie for their work on this. They came up with the recipes and worked very hard to get this going. There was a donation of other materials to get this started, and it was just a real team effort. Everyone had different ideas to contribute in helping with pricing and all kinds of things. So I have a great team. We have a great team. You have a great team working on your behalf at the industries. You can be proud of their work and their effort and their extreme dedication to the mission and the purpose of the industries. I'm going to be giving you some reports. We're going to have some great reports, some good reports, some okay reports, and then some not so good reports. But we feel like you need to be aware of all these different things. First of all, I'd like to start off with our newest edition, the Daily Bread Cafe. I have to say it has far surpassed all of our expectations. We were hoping to sell 10 sandwiches and smoothies a day if we were lucky, and we were thinking that might make us break even. A little bit, I'll give you the exact numbers that we have sold. But in the first 5 weeks of operation, actually, this is January 26th, there have been many, over 200 sandwiches sold, and I'll just have to edit this later because I don't have the numbers right here in front of me. And a number of smoothies as well. We have a lot more foot traffic coming into our store because of the cafe. We have somehow hit upon a niche market. Who knew when we put out that we had vegan sandwiches that we would end up having so many more people come into our store than have ever come in before? Scott tells me that he thinks 60 to 70% of our customers in the cafe are Adventists and 30 to 40% are from the community at large. And he says there's many new faces. About 2 out of 10 people a day are new faces. That's exactly what we needed. And you'll see when we get to the bad news later why we needed this so badly. He thinks there's about 50% new customers and about 50% repeat customers. Again, this is actually a really good percentage because we're still attracting new people to come to the cafe. We're giving some daily specials and samples of granola and $1 back and things like that we are doing to promote the new cafe. And there are people coming. We do have Sophia, the Statesman, did a story. It should have been out in last week's paper. And then she was there. I invited her to come and bought her a sandwich and while she interviewed us. And then she came back and brought her aunt. It was really great. The commitment seems to be strong. And we do have, by the way, to this idea, and we do have more potential for student labor now with our cafe. With changing regulations and decreasing availability of jobs that students can do, we are grateful that now we actually have more things they can do. They can pre-measure smoothie ingredients and make up other things like that have to do with the cafe. As soon as we have more money and can afford to employ students more hours, we can do so. We only have one student that is signed up and ready to work right now and is working, but not as many hours as he would probably like. And as our profit increases, we can increase his hours up to what he would like to have. The good news, carrying on with some good news, that was a great news. We actually have a couple great news, and a good and okay, and a not so good. Our Carib continues to do well. It's a strong industry. No students can work in Carib now, however, because of the changing regulations. Since Carib crosses state lines, when it leaves our place, it's called interstate commerce. And no one under 16 can participate in interstate commerce. It's a federal rule. It's very, very difficult and time-consuming to get students under 14 to work, but we have been able to do that. We have jumped through all those hoops as of last March or April, whenever it was last year, and then we had to do it again this fall, and we'll have to continue it each time we want to hire someone that's under 14. But we think it's worth it because that's what our industries are about. They're about learning valuable employment skills and teaching our kids to work and value their Christian education. The okay news is the bakery is pretty stable. Last year it did lose a little bit overall for the year, but as Karen says in her budget for the coming year, that she feels if she sells 2 more loaves of bread a week, she will break even if her expenses increase a bit from this year. We are using the bakery bread to make our sandwiches in the cafe. Another piece of great business, at least great news, at least potentially great news, is that you can think about with the school once again growing and gaining students, we may need the space that the Daily Bread Bakery, Health Food Store, and now Cafe currently occupies. What do we do then? Well, that's a good question. One answer would be, well, shut it all down. As we'll see with the bad news, we've got something we've got to take care of, and we don't really quite know how to do that, to be honest with you. And I'm going to continue on being honest with you throughout this presentation. So for many reasons, we've been looking at the potential of building a multi-purpose community facility just north of where you're sitting right now, in the lot that this church owns, or actually the conference that owns, that's right on the corner as you approach the church. This would house a community thrift store, the Daily Bread Bakery, Health Food Store, and Cafe, a large meeting room and a space for emergencies should there ever be a natural disaster in our area, like a fire. We would have space to house people temporarily. We would have showers even in a couple of the bathrooms. We would have a commercial kitchen, approved kitchen that we would be able to use for our bakery and our Carib, and also the hot meals program. We have done our homework, and there are thrift stores in the area that do very, very well in our local area and also in our Adventist community. I have checked with 6 different community thrift stores in our general location. From Brewster, we have Brewster and Bonners Ferry and Newport and Deary and College Place and Milton Free Water. And while some of them struggle to make their budgets, they are profitable. They are not going in the hole. They're paying their expenses. They're paying their way. In some cases, they're actually paying a significant amount of money to the school. That's their mission. We have in mind a very community-driven mission that would include helping out the school, but not be limited to that. It would include helping community members with emergency services. It would be able to pay the utilities for the building and maintain the building. The building would have to be paid for outside of that with donations and grants and loans, whatever. Most of the time, most of the funding we hope to come from grants. But again, this is a bigger project. I don't want to take up too much time with this, but if we were to do this, we could no doubt sustain the store and part of the industries, because we would no longer have to pay for the utilities, because the thrift store, being more profitable, would. Just to throw out a couple of numbers for you, the thrift store in Bonners Ferry, the Adventist thrift store, where there's 6 other thrift stores in town and a town of 2,500, they make approximately $10,000 gross a month. Milton Free Water, open 2 days a week, makes $67,000 a year. Sunbridge, which of course is a much larger organization than ours, makes $300,000 a year. Brewster, open 2 hours a week, was $700 in the hole when they started. It now has a couple of thousand in the bank, so they are also profitable. And some people have wondered, how do we do here in Colville? How do thrift stores do in Colville? Habitat for Humanity in Colville, $400,000 a year. And when I spoke to them, they didn't have any problem at all with us starting another thrift store in town. They were not at all worried or afraid about that. They know there's room. This is a growing thing that people like to do. They like to go secondhand shopping. So that's also very great news. We have a potential for something just on the verge of something that could be really wonderful for our community, not just our Adventist community, but our community at large, places for meetings and services and all kinds of things. So that does tie into our industry and where we're hoping to go. We would have our donated walk-in cooler that could be there, and all kinds of other things that we could use this facility for, and things that we have already that could go in that facility. So now to the not so good news. We are in the hole. We have been in the hole for quite some time, and that's something that I've been trying to wrap my brain around in the months that I had since I have started as the general manager of this great industry team. We owe significant amount of money to Azure Standard. The amounts are slightly different because there's a couple of invoices that we're not sure that they have correct. We don't have them that they have them there. Overall, a small amount of money. But we owe in the neighborhood just over $10,000 to Azure Standard. We just paid them some money this month. And we also are behind in our payroll at the conference office. Our total debt is somewhere around $16,000. I hope you're sitting down, right? You're all sitting down. What we have struggled with is, what do we do about that? How do we take care of this? Even if we sold everything that we have, right now our inventory is down. We've not changed the amount that we have owned Azure. We've been behind for a while. And in fact, we're catching up on that very, very slowly. And with no real hope with what we're currently doing to completely catch up with that amount. We have a potential of another contract similar to the Carob contract, and I have spent weeks trying to track that down and trying to find out if we in fact can get that contract to make some nutritional bars. It's still an unknown. If we were able to get that contract, that could pull us out of the hole, and we could be then financially neutral and continue to grow from there. The steps that we have taken to remodel, and primarily the cafe, have made a difference to get us on a current solid path that's not going to take care of our previous debt at any significant rate. The Azure Standard now will not let us order anything from them, so we're having a difficult time with any kind of product. How many of you have come to the store and asked for something and it's not there? We can't get it. I'm sorry. That's not a very good situation, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We have more foot traffic now. Yes! That's what we need. We don't have things to sell them. That's not good. Can't make a profit if you can't sell the things that are on your shelves. So we're struggling with that, and some of you may have figured that out in your trips to the store. So there's a number of reasons why we're at the place we are, and we're not sure we have all those reasons down, except that for a long time, over a period of probably years, we would be employing people because we wanted to keep the store open, we wanted to have the industries, we wanted to continue a ministry that we feel is important to our general public, but the person behind the counter was not selling enough product during any given day or many days to pay their own salary. Well, then you continue to go in the hole. Payroll is a huge chunk. And I must tell you that all of these dedicated people that work at the industries work for minimum wage. This is not a fancy job. They're managers. They are doing a managerial type of a job for minimum wage. We are not paying anything above that because we can't afford to. These people have amazing hearts and amazing passion for what they're doing. It is a true honor to work with them in this management team. So we are where we are. And I spent some time, our last industry management team last Thursday, a week ago Thursday, and we were going to be making budgets, but we just got impacted by, we sat down and we looked at all the financials and we tried to really grasp where are we going to go with this. We were focused for several weeks, 3 months, on getting ready to launch this new cafe, feeling like this could do well. We think it could do well. And again, it's done better than we even thought. But we said, let's get this going. And we spent a lot of energy with that and not so much energy digesting the financial forms as we should have. So that's kind of where we sat Thursday night, a week ago, saying, what do we do? Even if we sold every product that was on our shelves, would we have enough to pay off our debt? We'd have to shut everything down. All the industries except for Carob go together. And Carob by itself, while an ability to make some money, why would we have that? We can't even employ students there. We don't want to lose it, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So we really, really struggled at this meeting. I had to leave that meeting a bit early. We started at 4, and I had to leave just about 6, a few minutes after, and the others stayed there till nearly 8, praying and talking and discussing and thinking, what can we do? We do not know. From there, I went up to our school board meeting, which was followed by our industry board meeting. As our new constitution says, the industry board is actually the same as the school board. We just switch hats. They just switch hats partway through. And I shared with them what our discussion had just been. And they started coming up with some amazing comments and ideas, and I want them to share those with you, not me. And I kept saying, no, that's not your responsibility. That's, it's our responsibility. It's the industry's responsibility. And they kept countering with their ideas. It was a pretty amazing space of time in my life to have these people share their dedication and their support of the industries. I don't know where we're going to go from here. Do we take out a loan? Do we get donations? Do we shut them down? You are in charge of the industries. We are responsible to you, the constituents. The newest version of the Constitution, and I'm not sure when that was put into effect, but I was not aware, and I should have been, it's my fault, and I apologize, I was not aware that there had been a change from all industries being profitable. If they were not profitable for 3 months in a row, then a constituency should be called, and they should decide whether or not they should close the industries. And it got separated out to be if just one industry was in the hole, in the red, for 3 months in a row or not. That meeting would be called, and the constituents would decide if they were going to shut that industry down or not, that single industry down. I can assure you, I've just gone through all the numbers, we have not had 3 months in a row of all industries together being in the hole. But we have had a number of months of industries being in the hole. And if we were to look at just the store, we would likely have more than 3 months in a row. I've spent my time focusing on all the industries together, and there's many other things on my plate, and I haven't been able to digest all the financial statements for just the store because I requested them for all of them together. There is a proposal to put them back together, but I would like to encourage us to, in the Constitution, the bylaws of the industry, to make allowances for if one industry is the one that's pulling them down, that we have an option of shutting just one industry down rather than all of the industries. So however that wording needs to be written, we should probably consider that, and it might be the time to do that. In any case, I'm going to show you a couple of slides here in a moment that will give you information on where we're at with our finances, and also give you an idea of why, for instance, the month of August, we had a $6,000+ loss. I had to sort that out. Why? And well, it so happens that in the month of August, we were training our new industry, the store manager, Scott Carney, and so we had to double up on our employment, and our payroll is one of our biggest single expenses. So we had extra payroll to the tune of $1,500, $1,600 or so in, or maybe a bit more than that, in August, and we had an Azure order that was placed, and as soon as it's placed, and it's accrual basis accounting, so it shows up as an expense, but many of the orders were not picked up until September. The Azure order was placed at the end of August, and many of the orders were not picked up for and paid for until the beginning of September. So we had a positive balance in September, but a very large negative balance in August. And I'm going to show you those numbers, and you can look at them for yourself. You can ask for individual statements if you would like them. We're happy to provide them for you. We also have some budget to present, and then some other people may be speaking one way or the other. And you, obviously being in charge of the industries, get to decide our fate. So we leave that in your hands. Better yet, we leave that in God's hands, and ask that you will be His ambassadors to carry His word, whatever that is, to all of us at the end, working in the industry. We do feel like we have a ministry. We have a ministry to the students and to our community. By the way, Super One will no longer be carrying the canned vegetarian food that they used to. They will allow us to put little business cards back in the Huckleberry section, so when someone comes to ask for those things by name, they can give them out and say, oh, you can get them at the Daily Bread store. And they'll have a map on the back, and those have already been prepared. They'll be printed and delivered on Monday. So we are advertising on Facebook and on the radio. We're going to be advertising at Super One through those little cards. And we feel like we're being accountable and responsible for the day-to-day operations. What we're not being able to have a handle on is the old debt. And we cannot buy product to sell to you unless we can get that old debt taken care of, because Azerstetter won't let us anymore. They won't carry the balance any longer. So there we are. And again, I'll put up on the screen or add to this or however I'm going to do it the details on the numbers, the profit and loss from July through February, and that was February the 22nd, I believe, was the last date of that report. We don't have the last week of February in the report because I'm making this video a little bit before the last of February, and the February books are not closed out. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you, and I hope that no matter what you decide, that you will come and visit the store often, and that you will make it a stop on your daily or weekly shopping or monthly shopping. You'll encourage your friends to come. You try at our cafe, buy some baked goods, and support however you can. Thank you very much.